Welcome to the Fail compilation, narrated by me, only in specific places just to help give a bit more context in places where it's helpful.
I don't know. I can't tell.
So the problem with this first clip is that there's stuff that's hidden under the board, which makes it hard to tell when something goes wrong. And it makes resetting it a lot more difficult.
What? Nice.
One of the challenges I was having is with the letters landing cleanly. You can see here the M is sideways and the C is on top of the H. This was an issue that persisted throughout pretty much all of the tests that made it past this point.
No. E is upside down. And the I is side. How does that happen? How? Really?
I actually got the working take on the second try, and what you're seeing here is a bunch of retakes to try to get a better take than that one.
What? Oh. Tee hee hee ha ha. I forgot. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So to set the stage for what you're about to see for this one, the challenge is just that I was very picky with a lot of things. You can see there that the tracks were slightly misaligned, and that was enough to make me do the trick all over again, even though it looked like it technically worked.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Oops. Not quite. Huh?
You can see that the last gear rotates a little bit slower, or the last rotation is slower than the other two rotations. That's also something you'll see come up quite often throughout the fails here.
Would have been perfect, except that last line up.
It's also not just you. That first rotation is slower in these fails than it is in the working take.
That does not count. It's so late. It's so late. It's like a half second late.
What I'm talking about there is the timing of the dominoes toppling on the left side.
That doesn't. Are you? Come on now, really?
The problem is that I had to keep moving those dominoes around to get the timing right.
Why is it slow?
You can really see the slow speed on the third rotation on that test.
Oh, that's interesting. That's epic.
Yeah, you can see that the third domino was releasing late yet again. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to hone in on right here, is trying to get the right timing of those dominoes toppling on the sides while managing to avoid all the other issues.
No! It's still late! Still too slow. Bro, it's getting worse.
That's pretty much the machine builder's worst nightmare there, where you haven't gotten the working take yet, and it kind of seems like things are getting further from working than when you started.
What the? What? Oh, I forgot to reglue that. But also, it would have been late.
You may have noticed that that third domino on the left side just keeps traveling further and further up to try to adjust the timing.
Yeah, but that one in the...
So this one's a little bit interesting. This is one of those clips where I knew there would be a ton of fails, and I was totally fine with that. And I actually started the testing process a lot earlier than I normally would, because I knew that if I just so happened to get it to work, I would want it on camera. And so a lot of the tweaking that would normally be done before the actual in-earnest testing phase was done during the on-camera testing phase, which is why you're going to see that the actual setup position of both the jump rope track and the spacing of the two dominoes on the left, that will keep changing throughout the fails here as I try to hone in on the exact proper reset position.
What? Cool. Okay.
What you're going to start seeing here in a second is I'm going to start to hone in on the perfect reset position where the ball just narrowly misses the track in its first rotation.
Oh my god. No! Okay. No.
You might notice that the reset position has changed ever so slightly. The track is tilted a bit more forward. But that still does not look anything like how the track is in the actual working take, where it's a lot more forward in the starting position.
that doesn't... What is that?
So now I'm shaking things up a little bit and trying something completely different.
Okay, it's not even bouncing anymore.
So now I'm trying to sneak it in behind the first rotation and seeing if I can get that to work.
Why?
But that's apparently throwing off the speed of the rotating track. And again, the other thing is, too, the bounce itself, even without the rotating track, is pretty inconsistent. So it's hard to know what changes are just due to the bounce being bad on that particular test.
Okay, so maybe not.
So that's why a bunch of tests are really important, to get a large enough sample size to determine that the changes I'm seeing are not just due to random chance.
Oh my god. Oh, you can't just have the worst bounce ever.
But you'll see now that the track is starting pretty much facing entirely forward.
Ooh. Okay, there we go. Promising. Bounce just die.
I did have that problem too, where sometimes the ball would hit perfectly square on the bounce platform, but just not bounce at all.
I mean, it worked.
A take like that is one that I would only use if I absolutely had to, but the fact that I got it on like tape 5 or 6 told me that I could probably get a better take than that, and so I kept going. This take here, the ball just moves really fast on the lower track, almost as if it's like bouncing along rather than rolling.
Another good backup, I guess.
Another good backup there, but success this early in the testing phase tells me I have a good shot of getting the take I actually want pretty soon.
Goofy.
Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. You might assume that I had quite a few takes where the bottom track actually fell into the spike pit.
No! The pit of spikes.
But it was really only those two where that happened. So the fails you're about to see for this one get very repetitive. And the reason for that is based on how the trick works. So there's a yellow lever on the left side that's supposed to catch the wheel in the perfect position right when it's at a complete stop without allowing it to rotate backwards at all. And the weight that's pulling on the rotating wheel needs to be calibrated just perfectly so that the wheel rotates past the lever, but not so much past that it has to come back to get caught. Same thing here. That's just because there's not quite enough weight. So in between these tests, I'm ever so slightly adjusting how much weight is pulling on the rotating disc. So that was the first take where it did rotate enough, but it rotated too much. And that tiny bit of rotation backwards was enough to jostle the balls out of place again. And back to the problems we were having before. You may have noticed that I've been having trouble with that little wooden piece breaking off on the right side there. That was a persistent issue. The fail that happened on this one was a fail I knew could happen, but the rest of it was so reliable I just figured I would keep doing it until it didn't happen, which only took 2 tries. So the escapement mechanism of this is really subtle, but when it doesn't work, you can see that the car kind of slips by that second stopping point there. And if you missed it the first time, this is a better view. You might also be wondering why the marble track exits on the left side, and that's because I wasn't sure how it would transition into Mikajo's clips. So I did 2 versions of this clip, one with the transition going out on the left, and the one that I actually used where it goes out on the right.